Since I started working on my open baffle speaker, you can see a little bit of it here, I've gotten quite a number of comments about cone breakup because I showed my measurements in the test baffle. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what exactly cone breakup is, because there seems to be, as there always will be, some misconceptions about what exactly it is. And I'll start off by saying that I am not an expert. Okay, I do know quite a bit about this subject, but I am not an expert. So keep that in mind. Cone breakup is, by definition, where the cone stops behaving like a piston. And what they mean by that is that the cone starts to distort the shape of the cone. It stops being the cone shape, the perfect cone shape that it is, and starts forming ripples and buckles. And it's going to be different from driver to driver, depending on the width of the cone and the stiffness of the cone and the material used to make the cone. And you can use the published specifications that come with the driver as a rough guideline, like this one right here. Its usable frequency range is up to 5,000 hertz. So that means that there's no cone breakup happening in that range. Otherwise, the manufacturer wouldn't recommend it. So if you see that it's usable up to 5,000 hertz, you know that the cone breakup is happening above that somewhere. That's how it works for the low frequency drivers like woofers, mid-woofers like this one, mid-ranges, same thing. What about tweeters? Do they suffer from cone breakup as well? Well, they do. But it's usually not that much of a problem. It usually happens beyond the, let's say, the 20 kilohertz range, where humans stop hearing. There may be one person in a million that can hear above 20K, but not much more. The rest of us are 20K and below, and a lot of us, myself included, are substantially less than that and below. I can't hear anything, any tones. I can't detect anything above 12K. So cone breakup for a tweeter much higher and usually not that much of a problem. It usually shows up more in things like compression drivers that have a larger diaphragm, and it's usually made out of metal. And metal cones have worse breakup modes than paper cones. This is a paper cone that's treated with some sort of epoxy or coating. And metal cone woofers and mid-ranges and tweeters will all have a much sharper, maybe even more audible cone breakup than these ones will. So cone breakup exists and is a problem. What can you do about it? Well, that's where your crossover comes in. You want to design one that drives the cone breakup down in level so it's no longer an audible problem. Now, it might still show up on the measurements because almost everything does show up on measurements. You know, our ears are not a measurement mic, but for the sake of doing the best job possible, it is a good idea to drive the breakup down as low in level as you possibly can. You do that with more aggressive filter slopes on your crossovers. Say if you have this one crossing at around 3,500 and the breakup on the cone is around 6.8K, which this actually is, then you might want to pick a second order slope so that it drives down the audibility of the cone breakup. That's something that may not happen with, say, a first order slope, which is 6 decibels per octave, and the second order slope is 12 decibels per octave. So it's a much steeper slope.